This one tiny practice could subtly increase your risk of having a stroke as you sleep if you're over 60. No alert, no suffering. 1 second you're fine. The next you're having trouble lifting your arm, your speech is slurred, or you lose your equilibrium. I've witnessed far too many elderly people experience this in my work as a brain doctor, and not due to smoking, eating poorly, or not exercising, but rather to something they believed was beneficial. Vitamins. Indeed it is. Vitamins. Millions of seniors take vitamins every day in the hopes of maintaining their memory, increasing their energy, or protecting their bones, and while many are beneficial, some can subtly put your health at risk, particularly when taken in excess or at the wrong time. Brain in peril. Today, I want to go over 5 common vitamins that can raise your risk of stroke, blood pressure spikes, or brain hemorrhages, particularly in the early morning when your brain is most susceptible. This video could potentially save your life if you have ever taken vitamins D, E, B6, A, or niacin. Before we start, I would like to know if you have ever wondered if taking vitamins could be harmful. In the comments, type 1. If all of this is new to you, type 0 to find out more. Additionally, remember to like this if brain health is important to you or a loved one. For frank, scientifically supported advice tailored specifically for senior citizens, watch the video and sign up for Health 365. Let's begin with vitamin D, which is the most unexpected of all. What you don't know about it could make a restful night's sleep risky. It's likely that you've heard that it improves your immune system, mood, and bones. In moderation, all of that is accurate. However, the majority of seniors never hear this. Overdosing on vitamin D, particularly at night, can subtly increase your risk of stroke. Although that may seem startling, I have witnessed it happen to my own patients. Consider Mr. Walter, a 74-year-old former Navy veteran. He was shrewd, orderly, and considerate of his health. Really, like clockwork, he arranged his vitamins every morning, including a 10,000 IU vitamin D capsule that he purchased over the counter. He thought he was keeping his bones safe. He was unaware, however, that this seemingly straightforward practice was gradually driving his body into a silent catastrophe. His wife discovered him disoriented one morning. He had trouble speaking. He had a limp right arm, a stroke, all night. His blood pressure, rigid arteries, and dangerously high calcium levels were all evident in his lab results. The cause is poisoning from vitamin D. You see, taking large amounts of vitamin D, especially without a doctor's prescription, causes calcium to accumulate in your blood, and your body is unsure of how to handle the excess calcium. As a result, it causes your arteries to narrow and become rigid. And you know where that might go. A blood clot that travels directly to your brain. Our arteries naturally become less flexible as we age. Dehydration, little sleep, and a calcium increase at night combine to make stroke a real possibility. The most frightening aspect is that there are no warning indicators. Your life is eternally altered when you wake up from a restful night's sleep. Additionally, you might not be aware of this. In the U.S., a large number of over-the-counter vitamin D pills include much more than senior citizens genuinely require. 10,000 IU, 5,000 Tyler's IU. People believe that more is better when they take these daily. However, research indicates that even 2,000 IU per day can be excessive if you are not deficient. Let me be clear about this. It's important to get your blood levels checked frequently if you take vitamin D, especially if you also take calcium or cardiac drugs. You should also take it in the morning rather than right before bed. Are you aware of the number of IUs in your supplement? In the comments, type D. If vitamin D is being taken. Let's start the conversation now. If this made you reconsider, please like this video so that others can see it as well. Now, wait if that caught you off guard. For heart health, many people take the next vitamin. However, in older persons, it may result in a brain hemorrhage, which is even more deadly than a clot. Let's discuss vitamin E. Vitamin E is frequently referred to as the heart helper. You're not the only one who has been taking it for years. Many people over 60 incorporate vitamin E into their daily routine in the hopes that it may strengthen their heart, increase circulation, and possibly even improve their complexion and memory. This is the section, however, that is not included on the bottle label. An excessive amount of vitamin E, particularly when taken with common heart drugs, it may raise your risk of brain hemorrhage. Yes, even if everything is going according to plan. Allow me to tell you a tale I will always remember. Mrs. Evelyn Brooks, an 81-year-old Ohioan librarian, is retired. She usually had a book with her and was clever and perceptive. She was taking warfarin, a common blood thinner, for a heart valve problem. Her physicians kept a careful eye on everything. Her blood work was satisfactory. She had steady pressure. However, one day she noticed an advertisement for a bottle of genuine vitamin E in a magazine. Each pill contains 800 IU. She informed me that I believed it would improve my circulation and memory. She was taken to the emergency room 3 weeks later due to a severe headache, disorientation, and vomiting. A brain scan revealed internal bleeding from a hemorrhagic stroke. Her blood was too thin to clot due to the combination of warfarin and large doses of vitamin E, not because of high blood pressure or a fall. Only one of her brain's delicate vessels failed. The majority of people are unaware of this. When taken in large quantities, vitamin E functions as a natural anticoagulant. It slows clotting. In other words, if you take vitamin E after taking aspirin, Plavix, or another blood thinner, there's an increased risk of internal bleeding, particularly in the brain, where even a minor bleed can impair speech, memory, or gait. Furthermore, elderly persons should only take 15 milligrams, or roughly 22 IU per day. However, the majority of supplements seen in stores have 200, 400, or even 1,000 IU each pill. Many people have been taking these daily for years, without any warnings or consultations. Despite her survival, Mrs. Evelyn now uses a cane to walk. She never had the same short-term memory. She told me while crying, "All I wanted to do was assist myself, that I was unaware that I was hurting people." And because she's not alone, that's the part that makes me sad. Many elderly people believe that anything that is a vitamin must be safe. In actuality, though, not all vitamins are safe, particularly if you're using blood pressure or cardiac medication. Consult your physician before making any new additions. There is another vitamin that people take for energy and nerve support that can silently and occasionally permanently harm your nerves, as if the thought of a brain bleed wasn't frightening enough. Let's discuss vitamin B6. The vitamin B6 that is frequently marketed as a brain or nerve enhancer. You may have noticed it in those pharmacy bottles that said it will help with focus, energy, or even the memories. Additionally, you may have heard that it helps with aging nerves. However, the majority of seniors are never cautioned about this. In fact, an excess of vitamin B6 may cause lasting nerve damage. Allow me to introduce you to Mr. Harold Jenkins. He was a 76-year-old Kansas truck driver who had retired. He entered my office because he was having trouble balancing. His hands were tingling, and his feet were numb. He initially believed it to be aging. Then he began to fall. Once, then once more. He struck his head on the restroom floor for the 3rd time. I identified the problem when I looked over his vitamins. Away. For more than a year, he had been taking a nerve support medication. According to the label, it promoted circulation and mental health. However, each tablet contains 100 milligrams of vitamin B6. Additionally, he was taking 2 pills daily. That amounts to 200 milligrams every day, more than 10 times the senior safe upper limit that is advised. This is the frightening part. B6 accumulates in your body over time, in contrast to certain other vitamins that are eliminated by urine. Additionally, it can harm the sheath that surrounds your nerves in older folks, much like removing insulation from a wire. The outcome includes tremors, muscle weakness, tingling, numbness, and even memory or forgetfulness problems. Even worse, the symptoms appear gradually. Many believe it to be early dementia, age, or arthritis. However, it might actually be B6 toxicity, a delayed, avoidable form of nerve injury brought on by a medication intended to be helpful. And if not detected in time, it may be irreversible. Mr. Jenkins was fortunate. He continues to need a cane even after we stopped giving him the supplement and the injury didn't worsen. He is no longer a driver. "I just wanted to protect my brain," he informed me. "I was poisoning it without realizing it." To be clear, vitamin B6 is essential, but only in trace levels. Only 2 to 10 milliliters a day are needed by older persons, and what you get from eating is part of that. However, a lot of brain support tablets that are marketed in stores or online include 50, 100, or even 200 μs. It's not just. It is risky and superfluous. Therefore, if you're taking any supplements that mention nerve, brain, or energy, make sure to read the label, be aware of your numbers, and enter B6 in the comment section, or are aware of someone who has. At least some vitamins, like A, must be safe. You may be thinking now, you mean it's only for eyesight? Not precisely, though. Let's discuss vitamin A. Like the majority of senior citizens, you have undoubtedly heard that vitamin A is necessary for healthy vision. You may have even taken it for skin health, immune system function, or because someone said it helped you age well. However, this is something that hardly anyone mentions, particularly if you're older than 60. An excess of vitamin A doesn't just sit in your system. It accumulates. Furthermore, it can eventually raise the pressure inside your skull, simulating a stroke, impairing vision, and possibly even having an impact on your brain. Allow me to introduce you to Miss Dorothy Simmons. She was a 79-year-old Oregonian who had retired from teaching piano. She took delight in maintaining her independence, liked music, and taught students from her living room. However, she began experiencing headaches one day. Then the vision became blurry. Next came the slurred speech and vertigo. Her family was terrified. A stroke. However, something unexpected was discovered when we performed her scans. No blood, no clot. Rather, her intraoral pressure was increased. Excessive internal pressure in the brain. She had a backup of spinal fluid. Her brain's tiny veins were stressed. Toxic levels of vitamin A are the culprit. For more than 5 years, she had been taking a high-dose skin and eye supplement, nearly 10,000 IU daily, every day, without recognizing it. This is the main distinction. Vitamin A dissolves in fat. This indicates that your body keeps it in your brain, liver, and other tissues. Unlike vitamins, it doesn't drain out. B or C. Additionally, our liver slows down with age, so that accumulation occurs even more quickly. A disorder known as pseudotumor cerebri, or a false brain tumor, can result from an excess of vitamin A in the body. Headaches, double or blurred vision, lightheadedness, nausea, and possibly irreversible visual loss or cognitive deterioration are among the symptoms. The hard aspect is that while many multivitamins already contain the entire amount of vitamin A that is advised, some people, like Ms. T, unintentionally double or treble that amount by adding formulas for skin, eyes, or anti-aging. About 2,500 to 3,000 IU per day is the safe upper limit for seniors, and only if required under medical guidance. However, a lot of supplements that are marketed online have at least 5,000x 10,000 IU. It's simple to observe how the harm accumulates when taken every day for months or years. Ms. D is getting better gradually. However, she now requires routine pressure checks, balance therapy, and vision tests. I believed I was doing something good for my body, she said. I had no idea that it might damage my brain. I relate her story because I don't want to frighten anyone. It all comes down to having the facts so you can defend your freedom and yourself. Wait till you hear what happens when a vitamin intended for heart and cholesterol health unexpectedly raises your blood pressure if you previously believed that vitamins for eyesight were dangerous. Let's discuss niacin, often known as vitamin B3, which you may have already taken or have been prescribed for heart health. Vitamin B3, or niacin, is frequently hailed as a natural cholesterol-lowering agent. Some medical professionals even recommend it. It can also be found in energy drinks, heart-healthy supplements, and fortified cereals. However, this is something that is sometimes overlooked, particularly when discussing elderly folks. High dosages of niacin can subtly induce significant changes in blood pressure and even cause a stroke. Allow me to present Mr. Frank Miller to you. He is an 82-year-old retired Florida postman. He had an odd combination of symptoms when he came to see me. Dizziness that came and went every morning, hot flashes in his face, and a throbbing pain in his chest. His spouse believed it to be anxiousness. His kid attributed it to his blood pressure medication, But nobody had considered checking the true cause. Dennis had been using a heart-healthy, over-the-counter vitamin. Supports circulation and cholesterol. Read the front label. The rear. Each meal contains 1,000 strengths of niacin. Twice daily. He took it. 2,000 talon each day, that is. More than 60 times what the majority of seniors genuinely require. This is the result of taking large amounts of niacin. Your face may flush or feel warm because it causes your blood vessels to suddenly enlarge. However, those identical vessels contract and snap back shortly after. This abrupt constriction might cause your heart to work harder, elevate your blood pressure, and decrease blood flow to your brain. This yo-yo effect eventually resembles hammering a nail into brittle glass. After a while, something gives. Dennis experienced a mini-stroke known as a transient ischemic attack, or TIA. After 2 minutes of slurred speech, he resumed. He believed it to be an anomaly. I had to be honest with him. His daily heart-healthy vitamin was subtly damaging his heart. His mind. He's not by himself, either. A lot of elderly people take large doses of niacin without even recognizing it. They believe it is safer to purchase flush-free or prolonged-release forms online. However, even those versions have the potential to alter blood sugar levels, cause atrial fibrillation, and increase blood pressure. What you should know is as follows. Anything more than 50 milligrams of niacin per day should only be used by older persons under a doctor's supervision. Additionally, carefully read your labels if you are on medicine, have high blood pressure, or have problems with your heart rhythm. Dennis has stopped niacin. He's getting better. No long-term harm. But I will never forget what he told me. Doctor, I believed I was doing everything correctly. I was gambling with my head without realizing it. Thus, you may be wondering what to take in its place after we went over 5 common vitamins that can all subtly damage the brain. Better still, what ought I to eat? Let's discuss true food. That is, food that shields your brain without posing any threats. If these vitamins can be risky, what should I do instead? Is probably what you're asking yourself by now. Since your body wasn't made to function on drugs, it's an excellent question. Real food, whole, natural, nutrient-rich food that your brain can detect, assimilate, and use in precisely the proper amounts, is what it was designed to flourish on. Allow me to introduce you to Mrs. Margaret Wilson. She is a 73-year-old retired Arizona school principal. She pulled out a drawer full of pills when we first met. A multivitamin, vitamin D for bones, vitamin E for the heart, the B-complex for energy, niacin for cholesterol, and a few more for brain support. Doctor, I'm doing everything correctly, she said. However, she experienced morning vertigo. She was unbalanced. Her blood pressure continued to rise. The numbers didn't add up. Thus, we took a drastic measure. We got rid of the mess. We removed the medications one by one and swapped them out for meals. No fancy program, no miraculous diet. Simple whole foods in the appropriate combinations at the appropriate times. This is what she had for breakfast. For clean protein, have 1 boiled egg, half an avocado, which is high in good fats, a portion of toast made with whole grains, steady, slow energy, a handful of blueberries that are rich in antioxidants that protect the brain, a glass of water at room temperature to keep the brain hydrated. She occasionally added a few almonds or walnuts. That's all. Just food, no medications or powders. Genuine, identifiable, and sustaining. Maggie observed a change in a matter of weeks. Her vertigo subsided. Her blood pressure leveled off. Her vitality returned. She also informed me that for the first time in years, her mind was clear. Here's why it was successful. Hydration, good fats, steady nutrition, and natural vitamins are all necessary for your brain to function. Mega dosages are not necessary. It requires equilibrium. Among the healthiest foods for senior citizens are leafy greens, such as kale and spinach, rich in antioxidants and folate. Omega-3 rich fatty seafood, such as sardines or salmon, can shield brain cells. Berries for their anti-inflammatory polyphenol. Nuts and seeds for beneficial lipids for the brain, magnesium, and vitamin E. Whole grains to promote circulation and maintain normal blood sugar levels. Additionally, keep in mind that these meals benefit your heart, bones, mood, and mobility in addition to protecting your brain. With each bite, you're healing in addition to consuming. The last warning. The finest treatment is awareness. Every decision is more significant at this point in life. The truth is that what you comprehend matters more than the drugs you take. That actually keeps you safe. Your body no longer processes supplements the same way it did decades ago, whether you are 60, 70, or 80 years old. Without caution, even well-intentioned routines, such as taking vitamins, might have unintended consequences. Because of this, awareness is your best treatment. Vitamins are not something to be afraid of, but you should appreciate them. Go over the labels. Listen to your body, especially when it whispers, and consult your physician. Please leave a comment below if this video touched you in any way. What one adjustment are you going to make as of tomorrow? If this was useful to you, please like it so that others might discover it as well. And kindly, sign up for Health 365 so that we may continue to develop, learn, and support one another. You are never too old to regain control over your health, and you are not traveling this path alone.